Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I have some really charming Easter themed books to share with you. As you know, I love celebrating the seasons with my children, and the ways that I do that is through beautiful books, seasonal baskets, nature crafts and that kind of thing. So obviously with Easter coming up, I have to have some beautiful books to really inspire my children and myself and share beautiful stories together. So I'm just going to quickly go through these books, show you what we've got this year in the hope that it might inspire you and you might find something that you would like to add to your bookcase or perhaps get out of the library. So let's start with some of the board books. This one we got last year and it's so sweet. It's the Golden Egg book by Margaret Wise Brown. I love the retro illustrations in this book. And this little bunny is trying to figure out what's in the egg, and it has lots of different ideas. And of course at the end, a little baby duck comes out. I just think the way this is designed is really charming, and like I said, the retro quality of this book is very beautiful. So one that we still love lots. A slightly newer book is the Brown Bearwood Great Egg Hunt. And if you've had the original book, if you go down to the woods today, you'll really like this one as well. It's very sweet. It's quite similar, except for basically what they've done is they've taken illustrations out of that main book, and then there's eggs to find within it. So it is a search and find book, but it is a board book. So obviously it starts off with a little story, and then you have those beautiful illustrations that you'll find in the original book, but there's loads of Easter eggs to find within each picture. So this one in particular would make a great addition to an Easter basket, I think. Or if you have someone's birthday coming up, a little friend's birthday or something like that, this would make a great gift, I think. Next up is a classic Jan Brett book, and this is The Easter Egg. This one is a story about a set of bunnies who try and create the best, most impressive egg for the Easter bunny. The illustrations are very intricate and lots to see, some really fun fold out parts, and obviously tons of Easter eggs in this particular story. A new one for us, which doesn't have any eggs in it, but I thought actually would work really well again for a gift at this time of year or something for an Easter basket, is Follow Me Flow by Jarvis. Jarvis has written lots of, and illustrated lots of really nice books. The one that we really love is The Boy with Flowers in His Hair. So when I saw this, I thought actually I'd love to have a look at it. And it's really sweet. It is a board book, but actually the story is quite long. So I think my 3-year-old will really like this. And it's the story of a little baby duck who has to follow his daddy on a bit of an adventure. And of course, the little baby duck gets lost and eventually finds his daddy again. The colours in this are so Eastery. They're really spring-like and very beautiful, and that's what really drew me to this one, so I thought it was well worth mentioning in this particular video. You absolutely have to have this book if you want to create an Easter collection of storybooks. This one is Beautiful Eggs, A Journey Through Decorative Traditions from Around the World, illustrated by Alice Lindstrom. This is actually quite a factual book. It tells you all about the different types of egg decorating from all around the world. And what's so lovely, apart from the insanely beautiful illustrations, is there's a little egg template at the end and the invitation to create an egg shape and decorate it inspired by some of the things you've seen in this book. When my 3-year-old saw this, he said that it was the most beautiful book he's ever seen, and I would agree with him. It is very, very beautiful. So moving on to paperback picture books. The first one I've got for you is The Golden Egg by Maggie Keane. This one is all about a little duck looking for a particular coloured egg, and it's sort of like a searching book with little flaps to open and different coloured eggs to discover. It's really lovely to read this book actually. It's got a lovely little storyline to it, very simple, very pretty and very spring-like with its colours. And one that has become a real favourite with my boys. A classic bunny book is The Runaway Bunny by Margaret Wise Brown. She is the author of the Golden Egg book as well. And this one is about a little bunny that keeps running away from its mummy and the mummy basically reaffirming her love for her baby. And it's a very sweet classic with seriously gorgeous illustrations. Let me just look at that. Very sort of dreamy and magical as well, and just very, very beautiful. And obviously you might recognize that picture from Goodnight Moon. It has very similar atmosphere because it's the same author. So if you're looking for something classic and that can stay with your bookshelves all year round, would definitely recommend The Runaway Bunny. So next up is The Bunny Who Found Easter. This is another classic, I believe. I think this book's been around for a while. It's the story of a lonely bunny who goes in search of Easter. And I haven't read this for a year, but I remember really liking it. And I have a funny feeling that in the end, he actually just finds a mate and has baby bunnies. Yes, he says, Easter was not a place after all, but a time when everything lovely begins once again. So it definitely nods to the idea that Easter is all about fertility and new life and spring and all that kind of thing. So can't quite get the storyline straight in my head, but it's something along those lines. And I really did enjoy it. I thought it was very uplifting and spring-like, and also it's quite a nice one to touch on because children are often like, oh, so they see all the baby animals, and that's kind of a nice, not explanation, but kind of a nod towards that. Another bunny book is The Country Bunny and the Little Gold Shoes by Du Bossé Hayward, and pictures by Marjorie Flack. This book is about the country bunny who is a lady, and she attains the exalted position of Easter Bunny in spite of her responsibilities as a mother of 21 children. The story ends with success and a reward. So this is actually, it says it's difficult to believe that this very modern feminist tale was originally written in 1939, a gem of fantasy. I can't actually remember the storyline either, but the pictures are beautiful, and again it is quite feminist. So, you know, sometimes you can get a book from this era which tends to be very stereotypical. Well, from what I remember, this is quite an uplifting pro-female book from what I remember, but also very classic and beautiful. One from my own childhood is Max's Chocolate Chicken by Rosemary Wells. This is a very silly book, but it just brings back so many memories for me. It's about little Max who goes on an Easter egg hunt with his sister, and basically he eats the chocolate egg and his sister gets very cross with him. But there's lots of lovely pictures of like yummy chocolate chickens and different coloured chocolate eggs, and this rather mystical figure of this Easter bunny as well, who you can see at the beginning. A little bit of a crazy story, but like I said, this one is so nostalgic to me. All the colours and everything just bring me back to my own childhood, so selfishly that's why I've included that one. On is Reconnect's Eggs by Patricia Polacco. This one I haven't read yet, so I'm going to read the back. Old Babushka is preparing her eggs for the Easter festival when she takes in Rechenka, an injured goose who shows her that miracles can really happen. So I have a feeling that maybe this magical goose can lay magical eggs, but I don't know. This is a classic that would be great for slightly older children. Obviously it's a folk story, it's got beautiful illustrations and a slightly longer storyline. A brand new one for us this year that I was so excited about is The Spring Rabbit by Angela McAllister, illustrated by Christopher Core. Now, we've had books with these illustrations before, and they were a massive hit, especially with my autistic son. So when I saw this, I was just, yes, I have to have a copy of this. And it does not fail. We haven't read it yet because obviously I'm keeping these books as a surprise for my children for Easter. But I had a quick flick through and I read a little bit of it, and this one does not disappoint at all. I would actually say that if I could pick one new book this year, this would be one of them. And actually there is another one I'd probably go for, but just beautiful. And in the back, I'll read the back so you get an idea. It says, when spring awakens from her winter sleep, she finds a little bird lying in the snow. It's so cold and weak that she turns it into a rabbit with soft fur to keep it warm. To show their gratitude, the birds of the forest gather eggs, which Rabbit collects in a beautiful basket of leaves and flowers. This beautiful tale tells us how the Easter Bunny came to be. So a beautiful sort of folklore tale with stunning illustrations and a very beautiful story as well. Just look at that. So gorgeous. Okay, so the next one I've got is one for slightly older children, so maybe, you know, like 3 up, who love funny and very silly stories. This is the Hot Cross Bunny, and it says on the back, "Welcome to the Isle of the Great Easter Bunny. Steve the Bunny is really cross. He has failed to grow any chocolate eggs for Easter. Steve decides to make up a new egg recipe and an extraordinary adventure unfolds. Is that a dragon's tail in the sky?" And this one has got a very silly dragon that actually, dare I say, poops chocolate eggs. I mean, I would be appalled, but the fact that I have 2 boys who think that is the best thing ever. So this one is definitely one, if you've got a kid that just has that kind of humour and wants to have a good laugh, they'll probably love that. Next up, I've got 2 spectacular books left to show you. The first one is The World of Peter Rabbit, The Great Big Easter Egg Hunt, with lots of flaps to look under. And this says, it's the day of the Easter picnic and there are eggs for everyone. But when Peter knocks them over, he has to go on a hunt to find them all. Will he make it back in time for the picnic? And then you can help Peter find his friend's eggs by looking under all the different flaps. So as you can see, this is beautifully illustrated. I actually love these new Peter Rabbit books. I think they're so sweet, and I think the illustrations are really lovely actually. I mean, they're not Beatrix Potter, but they are very beautiful in their own right. And I love the fact this has got little flaps to look under to add a bit of fun, and also the illustrations in their own right have lots of lovely things to look at. And also these Peter Rabbit stories, the new ones, tend to be very gentle and great for younger kids. Last but not least, I've got a super beautiful book to show you, and I know so many of you are going to want this one, so sorry in advance. It's Pick a Perfect Egg by Patricia Tott. I am excited. I am very, very excited. I love Pick a Perfect series. So we have Pick a Perfect Pine Tree and we have Pick a Perfect Pumpkin, which are brilliant. The illustrations are by Jarvis, so the same person that did Follow Me Flow. So these are little friends. And Patricia Tott is the writer. These are just so good. So the illustrations are obviously gorgeous, and the rhymes in these Pick a Perfect books are just so spot on. But this one's obviously got lovely like spring themes of picking an egg, painting it. There we go, some lovely dyeing of the eggs, decorating with her puppy, playing Easter games together, and obviously having an Easter egg hunt. So glorious, and just such a wonderful new release. Very excited about this one. So that's all the books. I mean, there's so many good ones. I love everything that I've shown you today. I mean, I'm very excited about this new little one with the ducks in it. All the old classics that I showed you are still fun favourites with us. This has already become a favourite, especially with Toby. I love the Peter Rabbit ones. One was hilarious to read. This one is definitely one of my favourites. A beautiful folk story, a great gentle read for bedtime, a nostalgia pick, one for anyone who loves classic books, but also, again, this is quite long, so great for slightly older kids. A beautiful one about baby rabbits, a good classic, and again, a beautiful ball book. So many great Easter books. Take your pick if you're looking for one. They'll all do you proud, I think. But yes, 2 very special new releases this year. So very, 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 very excited about that. And going to have so much joy and fun sharing these books with my kids, and just, it's celebrating this beautiful time of year. I mean, I for one am so glad that the daffodils are out and that the Easter time is coming and we can say goodbye to winter, which has been lovely but quite long. So yes, if you've got any ideas for videos you might like to see from me, let me know in the comments below. But of course, if you just enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and also do head over and check out my Patreon page. My Patreon has loads of fantastic workshops. We've got a slow parenting workshop coming up on the Patreon very soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And when you sign up to become a member of my Patreon, you receive a ton of backdated videos, workshops, audios. But if you love celebrating the seasons, you will be very happy over there, because that's what it's all about. So I'm gonna go and take my kids for a walk now because the sun has come out, and then we'll probably read some beautiful books together. So yeah, I hope you have a great day too. Bye.